Hey all, this is Deb, and I am here to share with you a project that I have been working on. It certainly is not my idea. It's been done before, and you've probably seen it before, and that would be making flowers from paper and from fabric. And so if you already know how to do this and you're not interested, you can skip this video. But I've been working on this, and I've been making different types, and I thought I'd share with you just so you could see what they might look like. So I use, this is packing foam, and this is like a, what do you call those things with the balls on them? You know what I'm saying. They come in all different sizes. Anyway, I've got a package of these. This is, I don't know, maybe a medium-sized one. And I'll show you how this works. I also have a pair of specialty pinking shears that cut little tiny circles, like for a stamp or whatever. And I also used embroidery floss, some buttons, some, I bought this at Joann and cut it up into different sizes. Oh goodness, you may hear that thunder. We're under a tornado watch, so that's spring for you. Little spritzy water. I used a little bit, and you'll see a little bit of distress ink, and anyway, I think that's all the tools, and if I can think of anything else I'll show you as we go along. But I used a variety of things. Oh, I also used coffee filters. Now these are the small ones. These are called Junior, because you know the big ones would make quite a much bigger, and so these are Juniors. And so what I did was I also used some dyes. For example, this flower. This flower was made from a dye. And I used my Big Shot and cut those out. So this is a combination of tissue paper and some copy paper or printer paper that I dyed with food color. This is cardstock, and then a brad. So you'll see here how I have taken this, and of course it wasn't assembled. And all you have to do is go like this. And it makes them nice and cupped. And it kind of softens that cardstock up. Isn't that cool? Like this. And then of course if you used a smaller ball, it would leave a smaller signature. Like that. And you can also, if you didn't want to use this deal, or if you didn't have one, stylus, that's what it's called, you could just crumple it up. And that's just a regular circle made out of book page. It also, some copy paper lends itself well, or not copy paper, cardstock lends itself well to being spritzed with water. Stampin' Up paper is so awesome for this. They're cardstock. But you just barely want to get it wet. You can crumple it up. You can take your distress ink, kind of leave it and just kind of hit those edges and those folds. Yeah, it's a tornado watch, not a tornado warning. If I said warning, it's not a warning. It's a watch. And then let it dry like that. And you can do as heavy. You also don't have to, this color I used was Gathered Twigs. This one that I did is Broken China, I think. It's also a distress ink. And it's, you know, as you can see, it's very heavily, there's lots of layers in there. And I think most everything, well, some of them I sewed, but the rest of them have a brad in the center. I wish I knew where you could get these big, they're probably about 12 millimeter brads, because those are awesome. So there's that one. And this one is made out of fabric. These are just circles. Now I cut these circles, I think everything I cut out of a die. But you don't have to use a die. You could use a punch, or just cut them out roughly, because, you know, roughly even looks great. Now I did cut these like this, but then, you know, just did this kind of a deal to roughen up the edges. You can pull that up. Now this one, okay, so this one I just did like this. I didn't put anything on it. No water, no anything. This one I did with starch. So I dampened it a little bit with just my spritz of my water, and then I started scrunching it up, and then I put a little bit of spray starch on there, Faultless, and scrunched it up, and it's pretty stiff. I mean, it, you know, it would be flattened if it were inside of a journal, but if it were on the cover, that would work out. So that's kind of the difference between the two, no starch and starch. This one is much softer and much more pliable, but they're both pretty. This one, yeah, I can feel that this one has also got starch on it, and I think, or no, maybe not. I was going to say, I think I included some lace in this one, but I did not. These fabrics are all by Jen Kingwell. These are all Jen Kingwell fabrics, so they're all bright and sunny. This one I wanted to show you. I didn't put a center in it because I wanted to show you that I glued this one. So all of these pieces, so let me go back to these. These are all adhered together or attached together with this brad. That's all. There's no glue. This one I glued just to see. And so this is really stiff right in here. I think I used 3-in-1 just to see if I could kind of manipulate it and how it would look if it were glued in the center. Now that I've got that glue in the center, that is really going to be difficult. I'm not going to be able to put a brad through there. I could put a brad on top of it, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to put a brad through there. Well, I don't know. I might be able to use my pokey tool, which is another thing that I used. I used a pokey tool a lot. So let's see. Looky there. pokey tool to the rescue. So now I could put a brad in there if I wanted to do that. Okay, so what else? This is packing paper. No water, no starch, anything like that. And I just wadded them all up and then stacked them all together. This one is the coffee filters. And I put a yellow center and a brad and fluffed. The center is tissue paper, and fluffed it all up and squinched it all up. Squinching is a technical term. I might do a tutorial on squinching. Anyway, that's what this looks at. This is what it looks like if it's made out of the paper, the coffee filters. Sorry. Another thing that you could do with this, which I have not done yet and I will be doing, I have got some color spray with some glittery kind of stuff in it, some shimmery stuff, and I got it, I don't know, well, when I do it I'll show you. I can't think of the name of it right now, but you could spritz colors on here and that coffee filter would take that beautifully. This is also tissue paper. If you didn't have a die, all you have to do is cut your circle, fold it in half and a half again. Take your pinking shears. And then you could cut as many as you want. You could use this as a base, you know, and put your flowers on top of that. That looks pretty. I like that. Some of the other things that I used were this net that, and I dyed this, or tea dyed it. This is tea dyed. I also used, this is vellum that I tea dyed, and good old wax paper. So you can see that that's what this is. This has, now I cut this one by hand. This is the vellum. It's got some book page. I used a 6x6 pad, paper pad. There's some of that lace, and you can see how I just cut them and squinched them up, just roughed them all up. Here's another one out of that same paper pad. This one is wax paper and that net. So you know how I am about layering. I really like the layered look. This one is also layered. And these are just plain circles. Oh, this was a card, a greeting card, that I thought that the back was really pretty, and or that I thought the card itself was very pretty and very peaceful looking, and so I put that on there. And then there's this one. This one I did a little differently because it's kind of hard to tell, but I didn't, now I cut the outer circles by hand, and then when I put them together, I put them together in kind of an off-center fashion, so they're not exactly in the center of each other, if you get what I'm saying. Just to see, because flowers, you know, look all different kinds of ways. Here's one that has a leaf, because one of the dies that I have, this big die, has leaves that comes with it. And so I did the very same thing with this stylus. I rolled it around to give it some dimension and then glued the leaf on. Here's one that I did a combination of this die, just plain old circles that I've cut, and I stuck a leaf on there. This one, I told you that this die, this big die, makes or has leaves. Well, these were all the leaves that came out of the, when I cut this, these were all the leaves, and I thought, shoot, I'm going to give those a try. And it looks kind of poinsettia-y, doesn't it? So I gave it a red center. Let's see, I showed that one already. I showed you that one. This one is paper, but I used water. I scrunched it up really good, put my ink on there, really scrunched it up good, and then let it dry. I love how this one turned out. This one turned out so cool. And I love that plaid paper. Love that plaid paper. This is a different one that I did. I can't say I'm thrilled with it. I'm still working on it. We shall see how it progresses. But I cut little, they look kind of like Band-Aids, little fabric Band-Aids in different sizes. And I kind of layered them up, you know, crossed each other. I cut this with the circle and the scissors like I showed you as a foundation. And then you can see how I crossed them. And they really don't stand up. They're not very dimensional. But if you were going to put them on a journal page, I mean, you know, really, you don't want it to be, you certainly don't want it to be like this. So, you know, that's not bad, I guess. And you could add other decorations to this that would make it really cute. I was thinking about maybe adding a little tag on there. You know, all kinds of different things that you could do to decorate this up. And I'm not sure really that the center is right. I could be better off with a bigger center like that. So anyway, we shall see how this progresses. I'm not going to give up on it because it's, you know, it's I don't want to waste all this stuff. It's still good. Here's one that I did, and it's all out of the same color, just so that you see what all the same color looks like. Okay, here's another one that I did that's much smaller, as you can see, and I cut the edges. It's all book page, and there's lots of them there. And I really like how that one turned out. But as you can see, it's much smaller, and so is this one. This one is the center. Remember, I did this die, and I got these leaves, and I got these centers. So this one turned out really cool too. And there's just whole lots of them here that I just went like this. Squinched them all up. There we go, squinching again. This is a tutorial on squinching. I really like how these turned out. So these are two circles that are the same size. They're all that way. In this case, there's only two circles. In this case, there are several, quite a bit, because these are made out of tissue paper. But they're all made the same way. And then I had a bigger circle in the center using those plaids that I really like. I don't think there's any better either fabric or paper for flower centers than plaids. Love plaids. Or polka dots. So anyway, so I put the two of them together, cut it like this, kind of folded that center one up a little bit squinched this one, the back one, but I folded this one up a little more after I had zigzagged this one into place. And I had tried them with like smaller, they just didn't look as good. These big, what I would consider would be the seed head. It just looks awesome, I think. This is tissue paper in a leaf. This one again is 2 or maybe 3. No, I think it's only 2. This one has 3, I think. But I really like. So there is no, I did put a little bit of glue right in the center. So I glued, yes, so I glued this one to this one, and this one to this one, and this one to that one. Just in the center, because I knew that I was going to zigzag around the outside. So that's the way each of these were done. And I think of all of them, I think maybe these are my favorite. So, and depending upon the paper that you used, these kind of look like water lilies in a way, but they could also be poppies. So see, I'm just crazy over these flowers. I think they're awesome. And then this one looks like it's got 3. And this one I did a little differently because I cut them separate. I cut them, but I didn't, you know, I angled them differently so that the cuts weren't at the same place. Does that make sense? And then fluffed them up. And this one has several. This one's got 4. And I kind of, and another thing I did too was, once I had them like this, and they were glued without that center, I took the same stylus, and I twirled them around to get them to curl up into like a cup. So, those turned out awesome. And, okay, so this is another one, and it's strictly circles. And again, they're off center, so you can see that they're not stacked exactly on top of each other. Because I kind of wanted to, I don't want them to all be the same. And so this whole thing is just basically an experiment. And you know, flowers don't look the same, so you need to try different things and do things in a different way. Because you don't want everything to look the same. That's boring. So, and then again, I took my stylus and did the center of each one of them. Throwing my stuff all over here, getting everything caught like this. And see how that kind of turns your paper as you're going around. I love that. I think that's so awesome. Let me show you one that's not been done yet. And just kind of chase it all over this little thing here. And see how it gives it a kind of a cup. And it softens that paper on the inside. So, okay, well, that's what I wanted to show you that I've been working on today. I am going to be doing more flowers. And I don't know if I'm going to do them out of paper or fabric or both. We'll just have to see. So, but anyway, and some of them, let's see, I was thinking there was one that I hand sewed. Oh, the ones with the buttons. Like this one and this one. This one's really cute. That's got a button. So I sewed them all together with thread. And that one turned out really cute. So anyway, I'm just kind of in an experimental mode right now. I haven't, I have a journal that I want to start soon, but I'm just gathering all my things and gathering my thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's the way I operate. I can't, if I'm doing something, I need to be halfway organized, and then once I get halfway organized and get started, then I just let my mind go with all the things that I have out. That's the way I do it. I get everything out, and I look through all my stuff, and I pull stuff out, and then, you know, I let my imagination go wild. So, but then you got to put all that stuff up. But, you know, that's the way it works. That's what you have to do. So, anyway, I am going to go, and hope you enjoyed this video and that you enjoy making flowers. So, see you later. This is Deb. Bye.